All right, we're going to call this meeting of the Shawnee Board of Trustees to order at 6:42. Wow. Sorry. And we'll begin with a prayer.
Father God, we just come to say thank you. Thank you for this day that we have today. We're able to rejoice and be glad in the Father as we fulfill the business of the Christian. Lord God, I just ask you to give us supernatural wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as we fulfill the business for this. Father, we ask that you bless every individual that's present on tonight, the ones that decide to come that were not able to make it. Father, we ask for traveling grace and to leave this place and never see this place.
Let's go to show up all members present with the exception of Ms. Cormier, Ms. Palmer, and Ms. Williams-White. And we'll move into, we don't have a celebration, but I see Ms. Archie is, short-term Ms. Archie is showing off her ring. Congratulations, Ms. Archie. Very excited for her and been very excited for himself. Yeah, all right. Good deal, Tricia.
My dating service.
Okay. All right, so, moving on to reports, strategic planning, item A.
Yes, sir. School board, this evening we have Dr. Perez here from Region 4. If you all can remember, we started the strategic planning process in the fall semester. Sheldon ISD has not gone through this process since 2016. And so a strategic plan for a maximum lasts for about 5 years, and that took us right to 2021. And if you can remember, we were dealing with the pandemic during that time. And so one of the goals of the cabinet as well as the district through our planning committee was to develop a strategic plan to help move the district forward. And so Dr. Perez is here and he'll be presenting some information to us, and there will also be an opportunity for me to share what the steering committee came up with for a mission and vision and to get your feedback on that this process. Dr. Perez.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. I was asking, do I stand? Do I sit? So
Stand, sit, vote, walk around.
Thank you. So it is. Okay, so as we get the technology going,
You can go to next.
okay, perfect. So as we get technology going, just wanted to let you know that I represent Region 4, and part of the branding that we're doing with Region 4, it's about us being district advancement champions, right? And that means that we're here to support the districts and the entire Region 4 metropolitan area. And so tonight, we wanted to give you an update on our partnership with Region 4, which is us. We have two of us. It's a dynamic duo. Dr. Natasha Watson and myself are typically working with several districts. And the idea is that for Sheldon, we're going to be helping you guys build a 3 to a 5 year strategic plan. And so we are going to do this using the Texas Strategic Leadership, right? So just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. So the state, the Texas Education Agency, is developing a blueprint for the entire state, and all the districts at some point in the next year and a half are going to be using TSL so that they can develop their strategic plan. You guys are going to be ahead of the curve, because what's going to happen is by the time May hits around, you guys will have a fully developed strategic plan, so you guys will be ahead of the curve when it comes to that. So that's super exciting. And so part of the work that we're doing is I'm going to just give you some information about the Texas Strategic Leadership, some of the core ideas behind TSL, the EDF framework, which is what we do to guide all of the conversations and everything that we've done here within the districts, also known as the Effective District Framework. And finally, we're going to review what we call the Year at a Glance, which is a timeline that we've been working with 4 districts in the Region 4 area. And finally, we'll provide you a Sheldon ISD update. So let's get started. So I wanted to first I'll introduce to you Dr. Watson. This is the other Dr. Watson. He's our executive director for the region. We also have Dr. Julie Hill and Dr. Kelly Ingram. They work as part of our leadership. They applied for a grant through TEA, and as a result of them applying for this grant, we're able to provide these services to you guys at no cost, right? So that's super exciting. And of course, we're providing services through the direction of Superintendent McCaw here. And so we're working across, there's about 13 other regions across the state that are actually going through this whole process, right? We're calling this a pilot because all of these districts here are engaging in this entire process. And for Region 4, we only have 4 districts, Sheldon, Hempstead, and we have 2 charters. We have Provision Academy and we have Beatrice Mays, 2 charters that are located on the south side, and everyone's going through the same process. But what we're doing a little bit different is we're customizing the services based on the district needs. And as you can see here, you'll have roughly about 30 districts across the state that are going to be the pioneers for this entire pilot. And in Region 4, we have 4 districts, and Sheldon is one of those districts. And so part of the Texas Strategic Plan here that we have, it looks at 6 different tenets. They're right there. It looks at performance management. It takes into consideration the talent, the academic experience of the kids, the integrated support systems, financing operations, and it looks at all of that to make sure that we are able to help you guys elevate the student experience, right? That's our ultimate goal behind TSL and ultimately with the development of the strategic plan. So one of the main pieces as part of the partnership, if you look at bullet number 1, it talks about that this is a pilot program. And what it is that we're able to then work with the steering committees, with cabinet, all together to help develop this a strategic plan here for the district. And so we've been working with the district since August, right? And we've done a lot of work together, and we're at this point. We wanted to provide you guys with an update. Another piece that I wanted to share is, as I mentioned, the effective district framework, which is bullet number 2. That's something that is in draft mode right now. That's what's actually going to guide all of the continuous improvement for districts, right? So if you look at the next slide, you guys are probably familiar with this blue circle. This is what we call at the state level the effective schools framework, right? Typically, the state says that when a school is underperforming, the schools have to engage in the ESS framework, right? So with EDF, what we seek to do and help districts is to really stabilize and provide systemic reforms at the district level so that you all are able to not only increase student outcomes, but really elevate the student experience for all of your students here. And we do this by following the EDF model. We call it the impact model because it's very particular and it walks us through different activities that we have to do with the district. And so the idea here is that if we're able to align the district systems, we will help align the campus systems, which will then impact the student experience and ultimately increase student outcome, which is our ultimate goal, right? As a region, as a state, but also as an entire district as well. And so the exciting part behind this is that these are all the components for the TSL program. And so we've got a mission, we've got a vision, we've got some what we call the envision student experience statements. We've got some student goals right over here. On the second section in red, we've got the actual priorities. And finally, in purple, we've got some actual initiatives, right? So all of this is what's going to compromise your strategic plan. And it'll be, you guys can choose to select to have this develop anywhere between 3 to 5 years. The choice is up to the district, right? Part of our role is to help you, guide you through this process, but then you get to choose how long do you want the strategic plan to be actually implemented for. So right now, we've done a lot of work with a lot of district personnel. We've talked to parents, we've talked to students. It's super exciting to hear a lot about your students. And just the piece that I wanted to share with you is before we engage in the process, right, we went through what we call a landscape analysis where as a team, we visited the campuses, we looked at some data components, and all of that is helping drive the development of the strategic plan. And The best part behind all of this, as I mentioned, is that we're gathering all this feedback from all the stakeholders, and we're putting it together to provide you with the facilitation of a strategic plan. And if you look at bullet number 3 right here under the Sheldon side, the idea is that we want to help you build synergy and foster that as you move on to the implementation of year 1 strategic plan, year 2, 3, 4, or even 5. And so what you see on the screen is a timeline that the state, right, as you can see at the bottom, TEA, we don't work for TEA, we work for the region. However, we do follow their process. And so this is the timeline that all 30 districts are following, and it's built and separated into 4 different segments, right? The first one, it says, see the current system. The second one talks about setting the envisioned student experience, right? That's where we got the ability to meet with the committee, talk to the parents, talk to the students, and also engage in some of the campus visits. And finally, aligning the systems and the actual implementation and the development of the strategic plan. At the top in yellow, you see all of the months, and all the months there are pretty much there as a blueprint, right? So based on the needs of the district, based on what's happening, we work to customize and help the district really build out their strategic plan. And then one component that's super important here to note that as part of this partnership as well is we are also working with different staff members to provide executive coaching to the leadership team, right? My partner, Natasha Watson, her role was actually as she serves as the performance management data coach. And so she helps gather all the data, sets up these beautiful graphs so that the team is able to then digest, analyze, and make some interpretations about the data. And then part of my role is to be what we call the lead executive leadership coach. And here in Houston, I'm working with not only the 4 superintendents, but their cabinet teams to really facilitate these conversations and to help gather consensus, but also feedback from the entire team. And the idea is that we want to align all these activities that we have here at the bottom in the with the goal in mind of coming up with a strategic plan. And so now I wanted to and send it to Dr. McCall so that he can give us an update with some of the pieces that we've been able to gather together as a team.
Thank you. So Dr. Perez spoke about the steering committee that was put together. So just so that you all know, as the school board, we put together the steering committee of all educational stakeholders, all represented educational stakeholders in the district. So we had teachers, of course, we had parents on the committee, we had district level administrators, campus level administrators, athletics, transportation, you name it. We had a pretty large steering committee that really helped us to identify what's important to us as a school district. And so when you're looking at the mission and vision, what we did as a cabinet, along with the coaching from Region 4, is really take some of those keywords and make it make sense for the work that we pride ourselves in doing in Sheldon ISD. And so what we came up with is our Sheldon ISD mission will be to maintain a safe environment where staff, parents, and community work together to engage students in personalized learning opportunities to ensure they are college and career ready. So what came out of that from our committee was that safety and security is the #1 priority. And so that was one of the first things they identified. But then also, we know that we pride ourselves on offering our students options. We offer them options for college readiness, career readiness, and so we knew that had to be a part of our mission statement. And so that's where a lot of those words came from. The personalized piece was really important. As you can tell, it's kind of taking our current mission and revamping it a little bit, but the personalized piece is important because we want to make sure that we're getting every student what they need so that they can be successful, no matter if you are a student that may need bilingual support, if you're a student that's in special education service on level, GT, pre-AP, AP, whatever your role is. The Sheldon ISD vision is inspiring the best in tomorrow through a premier education today. Short to the point, this is what we are pushing towards, this is what we want to see, and this is what we plan to produce when our students graduate from our system. We want to make sure that we're putting students out there to inspire the best tomorrow through a premier education today. So I wanted to present this to you all as a board to take a look at it, see what your thoughts are, because of course we have to have your support in order to move forward with this. After we have our mission and vision outlined, it really gets us into developing those goals to make sure everything we do is aligned with our mission and vision as a district. Any thoughts?
What your thoughts?
Well, I believe that it's really a representation of what our committee wanted. It's not something that we came up with as a cabinet alone. We really took the time to go through the things that make our community proud. We also took the time to go through the things that our community wants to see as we move forward for the next 3 to 5 years. It's about making the opportunities we offer even better, but then looking for what's next. And so we feel like over the next 3 to 5 years, we will be able to continue doing this just even at a greater level. College and career readiness is one of the areas that we do very well in as a district, and so we want to make sure that we continue to highlight that.
So you and your parents feel like it's a good thing? Y'all support it?
They do.
Support it. Y'all got my support.
Thank you.
Y'all got the professionals, support you on it.
So from our existing, it's the personalized learning. And that's what I got more questions about over the years about how are we addressing person? We have 11,000 students in capacity. How are we dictating that personalized learning? It's a statement, it's a vision statement, but when we put it out there, I think it should be more that we have an idea or a plan in place that says, you know, if personalized to the parents, it's their personalized to their kid. Right. And so is that a reality? Yeah. Is that a true reality? And you know, so how do we back that up? How do we share with the parents that yes, your kid is going to get this because he specifically needs, and not special education. Right. Right. Not we don't have average kids. We have great kids. So every day for our great kids, how do we share that with the parents that this is what the personalized learning is? Right. So always a mission. A mission is something that should stretch you. And so now we have to go back and look at our actions and our goals to make sure that we are providing that personalized learning, whether it be direct advising from a counselor, whether it be working directly with parents, especially if it's through the art process or any other process that we need to have in order to ensure that it's having those college and career nights. It's making sure that we're bringing the opportunities to the kids and the parents. So is there a 100% surefire way? No, but we have to make sure that we're at least, you know, moving towards that and our systems are aligned in order to reach that vision. If anything, we should be able to point back to it and say, did we provide this child a personalized learning opportunity? And if we didn't, then what are we going to do about it? Well, and then the other part, if we didn't, why didn't we? Because it's not just that the opportunities are there, but if they don't, the parents and the students don't take the opportunities or the initiative, then there's so much we could do to pull that child into whatever they need. And so that's, you know, I know we, you know, again, with all the programs and events we have to give those opportunities. And that's, for me, that's what I share is, look, we have, you got to get plugged in. You know, you can't expect us to go pick your kid up from the house at 7 o'clock because we have an event going on at school. But we also know for the school district, the more students we have connected to this mission, the better we will do. Because the state expects for our kids to be college and career ready upon exit of our system. And even beyond that, there are some opportunities for the district if the students enroll in college or they're shown to be successful in whatever we prepared them for. So we have to do this. It's just a part of what the state requires, and we should be doing it anyway. It's just the right thing to do. But, yeah. All right, thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Perez. Appreciate all the hard work. And this is, we're not having to pay for this. We are not. Clap it up for that, but I'll tell you this, and I want to be clear, working with Dr. Perez and Dr. Watson has really been great for, you know, just some of the things, the data that they bring to us, the ideas and the strategies that they bring to us. It's really been a great process.
Of course, it's been work, but it's good work. And I believe that at the end of the year, we'll have a product to be proud of.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll sit that right there.
Put on the bond facility. Thanks for being here, Dr. Perez. Safe travel. Well, I thought that's why I'm gonna sit down.
I'm just kidding. Thank you. You guys enjoy.
Okay, just want to give you some updates on where we are, what we have going on, what we see coming. And so we're going to talk a little bit about bond and construction. So this is Cravens. We are finishing up the envelope. We are moving indoors, okay? We are starting to move indoors. On target, on time, lots of great construction topics being discussed between LAN and Frost here. So if you're driving by, you see this work. You're going to see some work going on throughout spring break, things that we really need to get done without kids there. Okay, so that's Cravens. When we go to Knoll, this picture actually was last week. We know we hit rain because we had hit water when we were doing the piers, and then we hit weather and we got delayed. But the slab on grade is poured, steel is going up. And so we are going to move as quickly as possible. LAN has been having multiple meetings with Division 1 to get our timeline reduced. We are all about kids come in the building, we need the building ready. So I have tasked LAN with giving us, getting with Division 1 and really looking and saying, hey, what is the timeline and what needs to be done if you're saying you're behind? You know, what has to be done after school starts, the first week or two of school? Because if it's painting a wall, we can move kids into a room. But our goal is we need kids in the classroom. We need things to go smoothly at Knoll the first 2 weeks of school so they can get school started. They can get structures and routines in place. But you drive by today and you're going to see steel going up. So we're really, really excited here. I want to share with you some environmental graphics that we are looking at for the 9th and 10th grade campus. So this here is the front office when you come in, and there is the front desk. This is what will be behind the front desk. We've asked them to spice it up a little bit more because it seems like there's a lot of blue, and then there's this panther, and maybe we can get some other things going here. So I've asked them to go back and look at that. We also, throughout our meetings that we had through strategic planning, one of the things that kept coming up was community. So when we look at this, this is the wall in the library. The picture in the background is actually Sheldon Lake State Park. Okay, we felt like it's important that we bring things that are in our community into our school that reflects our vision. I've asked them to go back out here, climb up the tower, and turn and take a different picture that maybe shows downtown. Give us some options for this picture. I don't know if you've been out to Sheldon Lake and climbed the tower, but if you go up, you know, you can see San Jacinto Monument, you can see downtown. And when you look at this view right here, it doesn't necessarily scream Sheldon Lake State Park. That's actually asked them to credit it and say, like, you know, Sheldon Lake State Park. So you know. There's another picture that has some an area up by Dewson Park, and we need to be able to show, hey, that's in our community, but this is what the picture is. So in the cafeteria, if you think about the annex cafeteria at King Middle, do you know how they have that little stage and then they have that beautiful panther part put in the back? Well, we wanted to bring in our school song. And so we are going to put all of the words for our school song right here. And it's going to be a little bit bigger. We're working on the font, but that will be something that kids will see daily. When kids are coming into 9th and 10th grade, we want them to learn the school song, right? So they need to have it in their face every day. and learn it, okay? That can be a task if you're at lunch detention.
You've been watching Lean on me, huh?
What?
You've
What?
been watching Lean on me.
There you go, there you go. Try to build that pride. So then, at the other end of the building, this part right here is when you're coming in, and that's the gym. But this part is when you turn, if you're going to athletics, this is the hall, this is above it. It says, "Welcome to Panther Nation, established 1954. If you turn and you go towards fine arts, it says, "Blue and white our banners fly, raised with honor to the sky." I just really like this graphic. And then in here, you'll see that the Panther is built into it. Just a nice little touch. Just wanted to share some of those with you. We have other ones throughout the building. But Dr. McCall really said he wanted a lot of school pride, environmental graphics. He said, we went through and nope, not enough. Nope, go back. So we went through and we've really done a lot of work here. And then in the near future, we plan to bring you some ideas of some outdoor cooperative learning environments that are coming into this building where teachers can take their kids. I want to talk just a bit about upcoming projects. So if you looked at our website, you're looking at what bids are out there right now. We're taking bids on fencing for this project. Is project number 2. It's Cravens, Carroll, Garrett, Royalwood, Sheldon, and Sheldon Early Childhood fencing. Fencing for K9, Case, King Middle, Knoll Middle, and Sheldon Lake. Those bids are due on the 19th. So we will have bid evaluations on the 26th. We will bring it to board on the 2nd of April, and then hopefully for action on the 16th of April. Again, we're doing the same thing with entry-resistant film. And remember, fencing, entry-resistant film, and entry-resistant film. Oh, she stepped out. Dr. Dearman has done a lot of the work. So a lot of this is like that strategic planning. It's free because it's grants. So we have entry-resistant film. Again, that's March 12th. We were doing the bid evaluation on the 13th. We were hoping to bring that to you right after spring break, but because of the break, we won't have time to turn that information in. So again, we'll bring it on the 2nd, go for action on the 16th, and then the remainder of the campuses, again, the same timelines. Roofing projects, we are out for bid. Those are being submitted on the 19th. Bid evaluations on the 26th. We will bring all of the roofing projects to you on the 2nd and the 16th. So we know that the 2nd and the 16th, we're going to have a lot of projects, but we have a lot of work over the summer that we want to get done. And the last thing is our interactive TV installation. We just finished up going through all of the rooms across the district, doing an assessment of the entire district. We're backing out those 14 pre-K exhibit concept classrooms at Cravens and the 14 at Sheldon Early Childhood. Cravens and Seton. So that we're not including those. That's not part of that model. Those will be mobile ones, so that if you do need one, we can slide it in. But we want kids engaged in activities all the time, and so that's not part of their model, and so we're going to respect that. And that'll be brought forth at a later date. And then we have some other projects that are coming up. The new 9th and 10th grade, just to let you know, Huckabee has submitted permit drawings for review by Harris County. We know we're going to have to add some lanes for transportation at Community Drive and Sea King Parkway. And we are cognizant of the concerns with the ground there. None of us want to repeat what we did before, so we're going to move forward to make sure that when we do the substrate there, that it is appropriate in order to meet the needs of the county. The next item is our marquee upgrades, and LED Partners has completed a walkthrough of all the campuses with the IT department, and pricing is being submitted and will be reviewed. We will bring that forth to the board so that you can give us some ideas of where you want to go. It is important to note that in our bond language, we said that we would be replacing and upgrading the marquee. So we want to meet the language of the bond, but I know that there were questions on certain ones and we want to involve you in that process. So once I get that information, we can do that. Dr. McCall, do you want to
Specifically
speak on
with the
that?
marquees, we are gonna be bringing it to you all because our goal is to have a standard for elementary, a standard for middle school, a standard for, well, the high school is not gonna be like the 10th grade center, of course. But we want to develop that standard so that all of our campuses, outside of their school colors and mascots, have the same, marquee. And so we're gonna bring those ideas to you all and get some feedback as well.
Okay, thank you. The next item is security cameras, and technology is currently working on finishing up, but that is ongoing. And so we're really excited to be able to upgrade those. And then Crenshaw Stadium. So good news, the track, those repairs are done. The scoreboard and the sound system are in process. The scoreboard will be coming in the next couple months and going up. Mid-May, so we'll see that. And then we are finishing up our press box assessment. So we are finishing the assessment at Crenshaw, Bobby McCrary, and the other field there. Because there's some upgrades that we need to do there, and we're aware of that and committed to making sure. We need to look at the concrete in the bleachers. We have had some spalling there. So especially on the visitor side in the upper west corner, okay, there's been some spalling there. So we want to make sure that we're doing a concrete assessment to make sure that that there aren't any significant problems and that we can get that repaired. Other projects that are coming up, exhibit concepts, shop drawings have been approved. Thank you to the school board for allowing me to learn so much this year, because I've never looked at shop drawings before. We're working with Huckabee to finalize our plan for Sheldon Early Childhood. Exhibit concepts will start on June 10th, putting everything in. So our goal is to get as much done between June 5th and June 10th so that we have level 5 finishes so that exhibit concepts can come in. Our next item is HVAC upgrades. This was included in the bond. And so we have completed our assessment to replace the VAS systems at K9 and KMS. We will bring those forward as an action item in the near future. Our next one is landscaping. Just want to talk real briefly. If you've driven by the high school, you're seeing all those new trees. Okay. That is Trees for Houston that we talked to you about before. They're doing all of the schools across the district. And not only are they doing all of the schools across the district at no cost, they are including 3 years of maintenance on those trees. So if you've been out, they're watering those trees for us, which I think is great. So I really want to say thank you to Dr. Saeed for working on that. And then summer projects, we're planning out all of our summer projects. And one example is we're doing some restroom and other necessary repairs at Monahan and at Royal. Okay. And any questions with bond or facilities? Anything else you want to know information about? I'm happy to bring it next time. Okay, thank you.
Well, as we talked about the high school and the trees so we had during the freeze, we had a lot of shrubbery.
Yes, so the shrubs, we're getting pricing on. We're working with a couple landscaping to get pricing on. Is that?
Yeah, and then what about the irrigation system? I mean, they're watering the trees, but we had a complete irrigation system out there.
We did have a complete irrigation system, and so we have been working, we worked with Maldonado for a while. We weren't getting the actual results that we need to get that irrigation system going. So right now we are talking with Yellowstone. They have been out and we are waiting on a quote for them to come back and give us a package price to completely fix the irrigation system, make sure that it is working. And then we're also getting a price, like I said, on the shrubs so that we can install. But the irrigation system does need to be up and going before I put the shrubs in. I will tell you that my goal, and I'll do everything I can, it needs to be done as soon as possible before graduation. So when we have graduation, that it looks great. Okay, I mean, that is the time where we are going to have more people who are directly connected to our high school than any other time during the year. So let's get them in.
Another thing that you all will notice at the high school site is we put, security cages around all of our
Yes.
small plants that are there. So that way we're trying to stop people from stealing copper and things like that. And so if you're into the high school lately, you'll see that all of our, it's an issue.
It's been very tough.
It's been very tough. And so instead of just, hoping and praying they stop, we're going to have to, do what we need to do. So we're starting there. We're looking at other facilities to make sure that we at least make it a little bit more challenging. Steel copper wire systems.
We were talking about plants, and then you said we put steel cages around our plants.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, yeah, you can't steal those either.
I get what you're saying.
I haven't come across that yet. Okay.
I said, we're having shrubs stolen.
Oh, no. Okay. Thank you very much.
Because we're going to the high school.
Hello, I'm back again to talk to you about GKD. So we listened to your feedback and from, I guess this was November when we last reviewed GKD, talking about non-school use of facilities. We spoke with our attorneys and our property insurance consultants. And so you'll see the main addition that was added is in the use agreement. So it's the written acknowledgement to understand policy and any administrative regulations to use those facilities. And basically that's just for an added layer of protection. Our insurance and premiums could definitely increase, say if there was a property damage event, that happened. We know that could lead to an insurance claim. So that was the advice that we got from our property insurance consultants. Also, small groups may not have, liability insurance that we need in order to rent that would protect us. So that was the main change. Page 3 was the same thing that we brought to you back in November, just talking about the partnership agreement in exchange for donations of goods or services. For example, Inspire Church, they've already used some of our facilities before, but they've given us school supplies. They've given us, the turkey donations. In fact, I think they've even used the Panther Zone before to distribute. So this is all just added layers of protection and for review only. So
I do want to point out with the legal side of it, we know it's the support of the board to include Panthers on that facility as a facility that can be maybe used for, community use. We have used it for, neighborhood meetings, things of that nature. But when it comes to maybe, a 5-year-old wanting to have a birthday party here or something like that, the legal advice we've received is that we need to be sure that we are protected and that in our administrative regulations, we make it to where there's insurance requirements that are needed in order for them to use that facility. Now, being very honest, legal does not want us to rent out that space for these types of private parties because it could lead to some liability issues for the district, as well as property damage concerns. But if that's the direction that we want to go from an administrative regulation standpoint, they would have to present us with insurance enough to sustain any possible damages that could come to the site. And many, people who may be wanting to rent that for a party, they may not have that. But when it comes to government-based organizations, as we've done already, community-based organizations, well, that's different. But when we're talking about, citizen use, things like that, we just have to be careful based on legal advice that we receive.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we just.
Okay, next, we get to talk about the calendar, believe it or not, for next year, it's that time of the year.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do, and all of you do have a hard copy in front of you, so you're more than welcome to go through it. What I want to do is just kind of go month by month, so you understand the thinking and the rationale behind the calendar that we created. And so when we started this process, we make sure that we had input from our community, staff members, leadership team, just about everybody, because it really impacts our entire community how we create our calendar. So we wanted to make sure that we had all of the information. So let me take it from the top. I'm going to take you a month at a time, kind of tell you the thinking and the rationale behind what we selected. So starting in the month of July, you'll be able to see that we have color blue, which is dark blue. Dark blue means staff development, which means our teachers come in for staff development, but our students do not come to school. So we do have identified the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of July. Yeah, that's pretty early, but that would be for our brand new teachers coming to our school. So talking to our administrators, our principals, they really felt that we needed at least 3 days so that we can onboard our brand new staff, brand new teachers coming into our district. So that is what the 29th, 30th, and 31st is. So we move down to August. August 1st would be the very first day that our returning staff returns to school to work on the next school year. And so that goes from the 1st all the way to August the 9th. The official start date of school would be August the 12th, which is a Monday. Now, please keep in mind that as we listen to our community, something that came loud and clear to us is that our community wanted to make sure that we started school after the tax-free day, free weekend. And so and that is the purpose of starting on the 12th. But we were trying to start as early as possible because when we do that, it gives us more instructional days. There is a certain number of instructional days that we must have to make sure that we are in compliance with the state. We're above, beyond and above. We have 5 extra days in our calendar, and I'll show you what those are. So that's the month of August. Let me move into the month of September. September, obviously, when you see a red, that means a holiday, which means, something that we're celebrating. In this case, we know that that is Labor Day, which is a Monday. And then we also have the 16th. The 16 has that dual color. The reason why it has that purple color, that has been identified as a bad weather day. So if we need to utilize that day, we are ready to use it. But it's also a PD day, but we can change it into a regular day if need be. That takes us into October. October, we're kind of excited that we're still able to provide our community the entire week. Now, this is really important because Humboldt ISD has this week, and other districts around us have this week off. And what we heard from our staff members and teachers is that this was a very important week for us to have. And since we are moving into a new era in which it's hard to hire and maintain teachers, we have to be competitive. We have to be able to provide not only a salary that is competitive for our teachers, but also a calendar that is competitive for our teachers. And so that's why we want to continue providing that week in October. We move into November. In November, we have 2 dates that I want to identify there for you. The first one is Monday, the 4th, November the 4th. That is being identified as a parent-teacher conference. Our principals requested that is extremely important. We want to always be able to improve the communication we have with our parents. So that's what this day has been assigned for. The following day, obviously, is a PD day. Takes us into Thanksgiving week. We understand that. We've seen that in the past. Then we have December.
Hold on 1 second. Let's point out November 5th is election day.
Oh,
So
yes,
that's
thank you.
why we did that. Yeah, and so that day is, staff will be here, students will not. That's presidential election. We will have more campuses being used for voting.
Yep.
Right.
And so we felt that it would be best to have students at home, but our teachers and staff, we will give them time during the day to vote if they haven't voted already.
Yeah, because
Parent teacher conference down the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
We try to get on all the other development Monday.
It's a motivation strategy.
It's a healing day.
It's a healing day.
we need some.
It's a healing day.
So let's move on to December.
Thank you.
Yes, let's do that. So in December, obviously, we have the last 2 weeks there. I do want to point out that we have Friday, that's an early release. That is how we allow our teachers to kind of wind down the year, that first half of the year. So that's what that is. The coming back in January, we do have 2 PD days. These are very strategic. It helps our teachers to get ready and to look at their data, their assessment, so we can provide the best instruction as soon as the students come back from their holidays. and be able to provide that. So that's the 6th and the 7th. Obviously, then we have the 20th. It is also a holiday there. That is MLK Day, so we want to make sure that we observe that. February. Now in February, we have two very strategic PD days, the 10th and the 11th. You may remember that this year we also had what we call a winter holiday, winter break. We're taking that away. We feel that we can dive into more instruction. This is a very strategic time of the year as we're getting ready for the start testing. But we know that some districts around us do have that week off. So we want to strike that balance and be able to provide at least 2 days for our students. Instead of 5 days, we bring it down to 2, right? Compromise there. And so we find that balance. So it's very important. So we're kind of excited about those 2 days. I think they're going to be fantastic there. The following is the 17th. That is President's Day. And so we want that to be our second parent conference. Extremely important. We're getting towards the end of the school year. This is when we have those real conversations about here's where your child is at. We think he will or may not be promoted to the next year. But since we want to make sure that they do, this is what you need to do, parent, at this time of the year. So very important conference day. But just in case, we also identified it as a bad weather day. Just in case we need it, we're hoping that we won't need it, but it's there for us. Takes us into March. Wow, whole year. That would be spring break. So we understand that. April, we have Good Friday, the double weekend, the 4-day weekend. And then obviously May, we want the last day of school to be the 29th so that our teachers can come on the 30th and be a work day for our teachers. And that completes our school year. Any questions? I think you have a question.
I don't.
You don't.
I do want to point out in March, for spring break next year, you're going to see that some school districts will go the week of the 10th, some will go the week of the 17th. We chose the week of the 17th because that's when our community college is out on spring break, and we will have over 1,000 students taking dual credit classes through San Jack. So over 1,000 students. So if we do not give our students and our teachers that work with dual credit students a break, then that wouldn't be fair to them. Although, and being very honest, Humble ISD will be out the week before.
Yep.
So we have to give our employees enough time to say, we're gonna be out the 17th. Us, Channelview, Galena Park, Pasadena, we're all gonna be out the 17th because our community college system is San Jack. Humble's community college system is Lone Star.
Right.
So they have two different frames.
I got 59 people calling me, making sure we have that spring break week. And then we go the week after.
What's the real name? The 17th?
Oh, that's what you
The problem is that if we don't do it when our kids have their break from community college, those kids, those 1,000 students don't get a break.
Yeah.
And then during spring break, the week before, we'd have kids, we'd have 1,000 kids that we'd have to find places for because they don't have classes. And then the other week, we'd be running buses and other things and having to have staff work during spring break.
So I know
Wow.
I know that they're dual credit kids, but I think all kids should have a break.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
this is kind of where we are now with so many kids taking dual credit.
How can with that? I'm sad about the February break.
Oh.
Right.
9, 10, 11.
It's 4
You
days.
get 4 days.
And
Yeah.
Oh, and
okay, February 9th
is
is
Super Bowl.
Oh, is it really? Wow.
and it's in New Orleans, so if people want to go, they'll have a couple days after.
How did that happen? I'm not sure, but that's.
Just saying.
Except for Panthers.
I'm going somewhere.
You still get a 4-day weekend.
Still got 4-day weekend.
Do we know where the Super Bowl is gonna be?
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's not that far. So anyways, this is how we put it together. We knew that we were not gonna make everybody happy. At the end of the day, we look through the lens of what is best for our students and then what's best for our parents and our community and making sure that we provide the best instructional program. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I might be a little sad, but I will.
I'll bring you a bath. So good evening. Y'all, this is the best part of the night. I am so excited to be able to present this program to all of you. I've been on pins and needles since I heard about it. And to give you just a little background, Ms. Gallo would happen to be at some of the cabinet members in Aldine at a meeting. And she was sitting next to Rebecca from Brazosport talking about this program that they offer and how they were partnering with districts. She was like, well, Sheldon want to participate. How can we get more information? So she got me a seat on the bus. So I actually had the opportunity to go out to Brazosport, meet with them, and I was in awe all day long, like, is this for real? Are you for real? And so we have an opportunity to be a partner with you all approval. And tonight we're going to share the information for information only. I'm going to ask Mr. Eugene Williams to join me. He's our Director of Human Resources. He covers onboarding, recruitment, and benefits. And also with us is Dr. Wyatt, who's my other director, because we are a team. We work close together, and her area is employee relations, compensation, and compliance. And so, Mr. Williams, come on up and share the program with the board. They're going to be so excited at the end. And because basically you talked about individual personalized instruction, this is the way that we can have more high quality, high effective teachers day one working with our kids. Right now, brand new teachers come in, they don't have that experience, but through this program, they will walk in not looking like first year teachers. They will have that expertise and experience the Sheldon way.
Okay.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Eugene Williams. I just want to present to you some information that with the presence of Ms. Gallo and Dr. Derrick, we got some great information, and it's called Enrich Pathways, and it's a K-12 apprenticeship program presented in partnership with Brazosport ISD. Okay, so what are apprentices? The apprenticeship program addresses employer-driven need focusing on high growth, high need, high skill, and high wage career opportunities. So building upon our work to establish a paid residency opportunity for alternative certified candidates and candidate availability. So what we did in Sheldon is we recognized an opportunity to go deeper and create opportunities for our non-traditional employees to gain their first off their bachelor's degree and a teacher certification at the same time. All right, so some guided questions that you may have is, what staffing challenges exist in our district? As you guys know, there's a teacher shortage all over. So that is the main challenge and how to address that teacher shortage. The next question is, what staffing strategy is working well within our district? As you know, this past year, we incorporated the adjunct teachers. So while we have filled plenty of teacher vacancies, it's a thing that's going well, but we want to get certified teachers in those positions. And then what component of the apprenticeship interests you the most? Later on, I'm going to present how this apprenticeship benefits Sheldon ISD. The thing is, it's very cost effective, little to no cost to Sheldon, little to no cost to the apprentice. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So Enrich Pathways, Brazosport explored a sustainable talent pipeline strategies to grow their own teachers. And so what they did is, with this program, they took paraprofessionals in their district, put them through the program, grew them, put them through four-year universities, got them their college degree, and got them certified to teach in their district. And we're going to do the same thing. The registered apprenticeship model is designed to fulfill both short and long-term staffing goals, workforce development strategies to create cohesive systems to bring new people into the profession. What we want to focus on here in Sheldon is growing our paraprofessionals, whether that's a bus driver, a sped aide, an after-school worker. We want to get those people in positions to become certified teachers here in Sheldon. The registered apprenticeship promotes early engagement into the profession by providing employment, professional development, and on-the-job training. In this program, they get all of that. As you can see, those are actual paraprofessionals in our district, and so we want to continue that with what's been working. And then understanding the funding landscape allows employers to meet the individualized needs of apprentices, to support them in areas of tuition and wraparound supports and stipends. Okay, for this program, there are 4 different categories, and they are called on-ramps. 4 different categories for students. So the first on-ramp is for your student that has just graduated high school or has very little, no college experience, which is typically our CTE students or our avid tutors or something like that. They have 0 to 30 credit hours, and then they will be what's called on-ramp run, and the program for them will be 4 years. So for college students who have less than 60 college hours, they will be in the program for 3 years, and they will have be on the apprentice level 2. So with both of these programs, it's year by year basis, and we give them everything that they need. Okay. So for on-ramp 3, they have 90 college hours earned, and they are enrolled in college hours and participate in micro credentials and on-the-job training. They will be in the program for 2 years. And then the last one is our paid residency. These are people who are graduated from college, ready to go into that teaching program. They typically only need to pass their certification test, and they will be in the program 1 year. I'm sorry, Dre. So some partners that we will work with. So in this, there are 4 different universities that we can go through. Well, there are more than 4, but the 4 that we will focus on is, of course, Industrial College, which is right here in our backyard. We already partnered with them. Grand Canyon University is for people who want to go to college, sort of on that fast pack route, that want to do the online thing. Stephen F. Austin is an option for the people that want to do the traditional 4-year university. And then Reach University is the one that is so great that I'll present a little bit more. All right. So what this is how much it'll cost for everybody to go within the program. So for Sanjak, for this program, it'll be $158.50 per credit hour. The bachelor's degree will cost about $17,000, not bad. And the teacher certification will be $7,000. They are able to transfer 18 credit hours to Sanjak in order to get their college degree. For Grand Canyon, this is a special rate just for the students only. It'll be $433.50 per credit hour. The bachelor's degree would come out to be about $52,000. Again, it's an option. Not many people take it, but it's an option. For Stephen F. Austin, for people that want to do the traditional college route, they can get you a degree in EC and with your teacher certification in EC through 6, generalist 4 through 8, and a SPED certification. Again, for this particular program, it's $5,300 for a 12-hour flat rate. Again, it's cheaper than going to traditional university, but they also have what's called the Purple Promise. Can we click? I don't want to click on it. Okay. But the bachelor's degree through them would be $45,400, about $45,000. And then we have what's called Reach University. Has anybody ever heard of Reach University? Yeah. So through this program, okay. So through this program, we are going to be partnered with Reach University. Reach University is a 4-year accredited university. It's accredited. Credits will transfer all over the United States. With this program, they will earn their bachelor's degree along with job embedded learning. Approximately, the tuition is $14,000 a year. But,
Wait for it.
with this program, if they are enrolled and go to Reach University, their tuition will only be $900 a year. $900.
And this is only offered to a lot of the states that are on the east side of the map. Texas was not a part of that, but Rebecca and Christy were very adamant about reaching out to Reach and convince them that Texas, South Texas people need to be involved, and that's why we have access, and we only have access through this program. If we don't go through Brazos Support on-ramps, we will not have access to what they have to offer. And y'all, this is not even known. Y'all know what it costs. If you didn't go your kids to go, you know how expensive it can be.
So for they can get a 4-year degree for $3,600.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
$3,600. That is amazing, amazing. But they will also earn a teacher certification. But that's $4,500. But for $3,600 compared to thousands of dollars at the other universities, I think that's really good. A little bit about Reach. You can complete your degree while working full time in Sheldon. It's a 2 to 4 year program depending on if you transfer credits to that university. 100% online, and the classes are all during the evening after work. You can take a full-time course load, which is 12 to 15 credits, and they have fall and spring terms with one summer term. When we were listening to the ladies talk about Reach, it was a great opportunity and the cost, if eligible. So with these programs, candidates will have to fill out FAFSA forms, and then they will have to get interviewed by the Texas Workforce Commission to get monies from the Texas workforce. It's a simple process, takes about maybe a day to get everything done, and then the funds will come in, which we're going to show you in a second. A little bit about the Sheldon ISD timeline. So in February, we presented it to the cabinet. This month, we're going to present it to you guys. Create a flyer and promotional video, Emily. We're going to send out an interest survey to the district to see who's all interested in joining the program. And then we're going to discuss the initiative with campus principals and get their feedback on the program. We're also going to schedule campus staff meetings to answer any questions that staff individuals may have about the program. And then we're going to open the applications to apply. In March, we're going to go to each campus and conduct those campus meetings. We're going to form an apprentice selection committee, and we're going to select our apprentice candidates. And then in April, at the end of April, we're going to host an apprentice induction meeting. We really don't know how much interest we get, but we're thinking we're going to get a lot. We're thinking for the first year, maybe 10 to 20 candidates, but depending on the number, that number may change. So we're just seeing who's all interested in what we can get. Okay. I can't really see it, but this is the calculator, and this is what's most important. So I broke it down to where I have an instructional aide, a SPED aide, a bus driver, and in the residency. So apprentice A, they make $13.40 an hour. Their certification is $7,000. They will go to the St. Jack Community College, which their tuition will be $2,750. After they fill out the FAFSA form and get the wage reimbursement from the Texas Workforce Commission, which they told us that if they are working and make that amount of money, the odds of them getting that wage reimbursement and that workforce commission dollars are very good. And then filling out another FAFSA form, they will get $3,000. So if you come over here, the tuition for all 4 years will be $14,300. They will receive $28,000 in funding, which would create a fund balance of $14,200. So with that fund balance, we will take that money, use it to help other people in our district.
So does that make sense? So basically what happens here, based on our pairs, what they make, their hourly rate would qualify them for funds from workforce. Not everybody have access to this process. This is something that Brazosport has worked out through grants and other things that they have received. And so what we're doing is looking at all the avenues where we can collect funds to support them. So for this particular pair, they make $13.40 an hour. It's going to generate $28,500 from all these resources. So since it's going to generate 28, that comes to Sheldon. The money does not go to the recipient. It comes to Sheldon. So now that we have 28.5, their tuition using Reach is only going to cost, with all the other pieces, $14,300, which leaves us, Mr. George, $14,000 in slack. So that's why we call this low cost, no cost. But let's say that it's one that, let's say they're not eligible and they may not bring in as much money. But Rebecca shared with me when I was met her at another event, that they just received another grant And we're gonna automatically get about $45,000 just to get started with this program. So if we do have a pair that the funds are not there, we can subsidize some of that. So they may have to pay something. And to be honest with you, we want them to pay something. Because sometimes when people don't pay anything, there's no accountability or connection to it. And even if it's just their books, we cover tuition, you take care of your own books and things of that nature. But we were just playing around with the calculator. And so with these particular people at the end of the day, we can end up with, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000, and then that money is rolled back into the program to support those that may not be eligible because of their financial situation at home, eligible for all the Pell Grants and things of that nature. Are there any questions about that piece?
Is any of the financial support is based off of success rate
Well,
of the individual? I mean, they're getting $14,000 to pay for their tuition. And again, I agree with ownership, you have ownership in the program for yourself.
Mhm.
But let's just say they decide, well, yeah, I'm just gonna.
well, there's a commitment letter that they have to sign. And the second thing is, if they go through REACH, when he mentioned the micro credentials, as they go through that program, they have to take 12 hours. They also go through a training program with us that I mentioned to Dr. Stewart, because it's going to be our teaching and learning department, because they're going to train our people to train our own participants. And they're required to be in a classroom to teach a class once a month, plus go through training. So with the success piece, how well you performing in those classes that are on site, the training on site, besides your 12 hours. We want you to pass the classes, we don't want you to you got to pass the classes. So, it's anything that we do of this nature. And, some of the people, that they got to wrap their heads around it, something that you really, really want to do, and that it's going to be very, very rigorous for them to participate. But a lot of people say, I don't have the funds. I don't have that ability. We've also been able to work, he's working with San Jack, that we're hoping they can come here and have some classes in district. And so that way they're not having to travel from here to somewhere else.
So it'll be here and at the new campus right there over by Summer Creek.
Yeah. And a lot of the classes will be online.
And I like the fact that they will also include some of the professional development that they learn here with us before they become teachers as for some of their college credit hours. So instead of them becoming teachers and then we have to hurry up and train them up on everything you need them to know, they could be going to school and learning that. So then when they hit the door, first year teacher, they have all the training they need. And that was just like music to my ears.
So some funding will come from the workforce development, employer wage reimbursement, the FAFSA forms which they'll have to fill out. The Pell Grants will come from the FAFSA. The Federal Department of Labor grants, that will come through the district enrolling into the program. And then the Federal Department of Education grants, again, that comes from the district being in the program. And then some additional title funds may be used as necessary.
So just to kind of give you an example, let's say I am the PIMS clerk at a campus, and I decide, I already have 60 hours. I only need, the rest of the hours to be able to complete it. I get into the program, I work through the program, and then the key is what happens year 4 when they're in residency. Residency means you're no longer that PIMS clerk. You're no longer that bus driver. At this point now, you are actually at the campus, partner with the teacher for a full year to learn the craft, to learn what you do. How do you do it? How do we pay that person? Okay, you gotta follow me. It's called neutral budgeting. So let's say we have a second grade at Garrett, and let's say we have 4 second grade teachers. This is unique. What we will do, we will take one of these classes and dissolve that class, take that teacher away, but we keep that teacher's salary. That teacher's salary is now going to be used to facilitate the overall program of how this resident is paid. So we may say that teacher makes, let's say they make $70,000. So 30 of that thousand will go to their residents. So instead of them getting $18,000 a year as a para, they're going to earn $30,000 that year. That's motivational to make them think, hey, I'm gonna be almost doubling my salary to be in that classroom to learn beside a very experienced rock star teacher. So what happened to these kids? The majority of those kids would go to that rock star teacher. So that teacher may now have 30, 32 kids, but it's a 32 to 2 and not to 1. Okay? And then while that teacher does that, we may give that teacher $15,000 from the classroom that we dissolved. Now they're getting a stipend for $15,000 to take on an additional group of kids and this resident. Following me? Then this teacher may have to take 8 or 9 of those kids. This one may have to take 5 of those kids. So they all get a stipend, but it's decreased based on the number of students that they take on. Okay, that has to be done very strategically because you got to have the right teachers to make that happen. But if I'm that Teams clerk, then now I'm in that classroom with that expert teacher working beside her every day, going to the PD with her, going to the grade level meetings, in there watching how she facilitates classroom management, learning how do I teach this TEK, walking in there every day from beginning to end, working with that teacher. Then when I come back in the fall, I'm not a brand new teacher. On paper, I am, but in my craft, I'm not, because Ms. Jones, who is the expert teacher, has me prepared. I even know how to communicate with parents. I know how to have that conversation. I know how to discipline kids. I know all those pieces because I've worked with that rock star teacher all year long. And now I'm going to that first year looking like I'm a second or third year teacher with all of my credentials. Now I'm going to make that beginning salary of $63,600 and really truly earn it, be able to earn it because of that process. So with that being said, are there any other questions?
I do have a comment, and you all may know this, but, you know, we have a lot of our former students come back. They come, we just can't get rid of them, can't we? But we're glad, right? They come back, they're working as paraprofessionals, our after-school program, you know, avid tutors, and so they go through these programs and they change their majors. Like, I want to be a teacher now. I think I like this. And so this is a way to make sure that we have an avenue for them, even if cost is an issue. Think about our paraprofessionals that have been paraprofessionals with us for 5, 10, 15 years. They would be excellent teachers in the classroom, but life happens to us all, and maybe they're not able to afford to go to, you know, some of the other institutions where they get the tuition costs. So this is just a great opportunity for people who want to work with our students. They make the choice to come back year after year after year. And so we can use this as an opportunity to invest in them. That excites me as a superintendent. It really does, because we're developing our people who have been dedicated to our community and our children.
And I actually, Mr. Williams and I, he kind of looked like you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams and I had the opportunity to meet some of their apprentices, and I actually got a chance to observe them in one of their classes. They were learning how to teach students how to write, and it was awesome. So all of that training we will get from them to train our teaching and learning department, along with Mr. Williams, to be able to deliver. I wanted to deliver some of that instruction. It was so awesome. But the thing about it, we also got to meet some of the students that are participating, and to hear their story, it brought tears to our eyes. You know, one young lady said, "I'm a mom now. I just had no idea I would be able to go back to school, still work, go to school." She said it was tough, but able to do that. Now I'm going to be able to add to the income of my home. You know, I'm able to add more to that. Some of them were single parents, you know. And we had some of the principals who are recipients of the apprentice speak to us and share how they are fighting over these people. Oh, I want one at my campus. I need one at my campus, because they become part of the framework on your campus. They assimilate very well because they're there. They know what we do. They know how to do it. And here's the other thing I saw in those students that was getting ready to come out of the residency: confidence. They were not scared, not afraid. The confidence was there. Because kids know when teachers don't have that confidence and they They jumped right into it, but it built their confidence to know that, hey, I can step in there and I know what I'm doing. And then the program continues to follow them and monitor them, even as they, of course, HR department is going to still be there to support them. So next steps would be, of course, we have to actually present this at the board meeting, and you all would vote on whether or not we'll be allowed to participate. There's only the six school districts.
Yes.
That's part of this process. And I think it's just us in Deer Park in the Region 4 area. And we can't let Deer Park outdo us, we can't. And so this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So once you all decide whether or not to approve it or not, and then we'll be able to move forward. We have to sign a commitment letter with Brazosport because it is their program, and they have marketed all of this for us, but we'll be able to put Sheldon's stamp on it as well. So any other questions? Comments?
Whenever we do the dissolving of the teacher, so we have 4 teachers, the dissolving of the teacher.
We're not really dissolving because sometimes it's not, we have to hire there anyway. So we just won't replace that teacher.
Okay, so then we go from 4 second grade teachers to 3 second grade teachers. We put 33 kids in one classroom. That's a lot of kids first. Are we gonna fit in the classroom?
Well,
And
that's why it would be depends on which campus can accommodate it.
And then once that student graduates and they become a teacher next year, do we need to add another teacher back to that 4th grade, to the 2nd grade?
Yes, because that position really doesn't go away because the monies are still there. We're just using those money to support the program. So it's like that unit is still there. We're still getting funds for those kids. They're just dispersed here. So the ADA is still there. The spot is still there. We're just being strategic in how we do that. So yes, when that person goes, if they may be the person that goes right into that spot.
So where does that teacher go? So if we have 4 teachers.
So remember, we have a lot of vacancies. There
So
would
they
be a
get
place.
moved around.
There would be a place. Yes, ma'am.
Or attrition or something.
Exactly.
Right.
Somebody may retire, and that's where we go. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be very strategic in the process.
Dr. German, I don't know if you mentioned this, but what is the commitment if they go through our apprenticeship program of the teacher once they finish?
Well, that's something we have to decide as a team. Most people, some of the other districts, what they're thinking about is like a 2-year commitment. Once you finish, 2-year commitment. If not, we want some money back.
And I think, to me, it sounds like this. It sounds a good program.
Mhm.
It kind of almost remind me when I went to nursing school. In order to, I think St. Luke did it. If you wanted to go on to get your RN, they will see you, but you had to, they'll send you through almost a process like this in your school, and they pay for it while you working. You pay for it, and you get that clinical hands-on, one-on-one with that seasoned nurse. And then once you finish, you'd have to give St. Luke about 2 or 3 years commitment where you stay there. You just can't go through their program and just, stop. But I think that's a good program.
And
I was looking at, Miss Smalls up there, that's, and so.
All the pictures are our people.
Yeah,
All the people in the PowerPoint are our
And,
people.
she come out of corporate America, but I think that's good that we we groom our own.
Right.
And like some, paraprofessionals, like you say that, they're single moms or some or have to work. But if they can work and go to school and earn that same, because a lot of them have that desire. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. They can earn that same.
And I know like Brazosport does open it up to like if they hire a brand new para, they allow them to participate. We're not really looking a lot on the people from the outside right now. We're looking at those who are already working for us or live in our community.
Right.
And I feel like if we have a lot of our peers who've been with us for a while, they're not going to go anywhere because now they see, wow, this is what you provide in me, and it's going to make them feel like we really value them and who they are, that we are offering this opportunity to
And you
them.
don't have such a high turnover rate.
Won't have a big high turnover.
They're like, we can stay right here and get those. Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I know that with the avid tutors. There's some avid tutors that have come back and decided to change their major to teaching because they loved it. So that's
Yeah.
Let's hire the one.
We just hired Manuel
Manuel.
Lerma.
You got a layer with that.
And we actually
Chris
had a
Jones.
grow your
Chris
own
Brown.
grant for Manuel the
Chris
last
Brown.
2 years that gave him $4,500 a semester for 4 semesters to finish his degree, and he's still with us.
Come back.
So.
Well, and who was teacher of the rookie of the year?
Ariana Brown,
Ariana.
and she has a business degree.
Yeah, there's some really great students that have come back.
So Dr.
Gabriel and Jonah Reeves. Oh, sorry, they haven't started teaching yet.
They're employed right now.
Those facts sound familiar.
Yeah. So back, kind of what Ms. Martinez was talking about, when you move that one teacher around, and so we're getting waivers for the classes that the single teachers are in, correct, for those classroom sizes?
And well, we are District of Innovation,
Yes,
so we will,
but if you wind up with 33 kids with
right,
one teacher.
with that one teacher.
Yeah, 40 and 30.
Yes.
We have to.
We just got-
So how many would you look at doing, let's just say, per campus?
Well, see,
You know,
all
you
that's
had
on,
3 and
and
then,
that we really won't know until we get the applicants, because as they come in, it depends on the number of hours they currently hold,
okay.
that they've earned. So if they've only earned, right now I have 15, I think most of them are gonna be on the low end. It may take us 2 years before we get to the residency, maybe 3 years before we get to the residency, so we have time to plan for that. But I'm very excited. I just,
So,
I,
so if we can do that for a year,
mhm.
and why can't we do that now? And I'm just putting it, let's just say we have a teacher that we can remove, save that $70,000 and put an aide in a classroom, raise those 2 classrooms up and save that money in payroll. That's what we'd be doing for a year.
But the
Right? I mean-
the difference is what we're doing is intentional.
We'll
It's
be
not,
doing
it's not just to save the money, but it's also to
It's
prepare
an
those.
investment, yeah, so
Right,
that we're
right.
gonna reap a reward
Right,
at the end of that,
Right.
but the fact remains that it's still going, potentially will happen.
right. But if you do that on a larger scale, I actually did some of that when I was principal at Montague. We had those oversized classrooms,
Yeah.
you remember, and we would have 2 classes in there with 2 experienced teachers. We got to be experienced teachers that know what to do, because some kids can't handle that environment, and I just feel like for what we're trying to do is gonna be on a smaller scale that can be managed.
But then also taking into the difference is by the time we get to that point where they're at that part of the internship, they would have gone through 3 to 4 years of coursework to prepare them, which makes it a little bit different than a classroom aid that we currently have right now without that experience.
Yeah, no, I get that, the one the classroom that apprenticeship would be in, but the other classrooms that would still have an increased number of students with still a single teacher,
Right.
right? I mean,
Right.
that would
But it
be
won't be, the
one.
majority of them are going to be with that,
Yeah.
teacher.
Split them up into 4 classrooms instead of 3. I mean, it's just,
It
and
depends
I
on-
get it, it's for a year,
and
and I understand, but the fact that would still happen, so then
Right.
we have the 2 classrooms that have the increased number of kids, and I get it, sometimes they have to now regardless. We're always getting waivers for classroom sizes. So, it's just looking at that perspective of those students that, you would identify those 2 teachers that are rock stars also, because they would have an increased number for that entire year, delivery, knowing going into that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's gonna be very strategic, but, if you have 5 teachers at grade level, there's fewer kids
Yeah.
that will be dispersed out, so. But I just feel like, on a larger scale will be a little scary, because we really gotta have the right people to be able to facilitate that and make that happen. If you don't have the right people, it does not work. But I need to worry about accountability too, so.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and I mean academic wise, because you're instructing more kids, like Dr. McCall said. That's not just a regular parent in the room, it's someone who's actually
Yeah.
has been coached and has had their training. They're almost like a second teacher first, because sometimes with a parent, you gotta guide them and tell them what to do and how to do, whereas this person will be raised.
Yeah, I have no doubt on that one, that would be the majority of those extra kids in that one classroom, but we're still stacking kids of another classroom with one experienced teacher.
Well, and sometimes if I write, I mean, if I'm understanding it right, it may not be that you're dividing up a class of 22. It might be that a grade level is like 14 of So we would be at a point where we had to hire, but instead of hiring, we'd split the 14.
It's just,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
just
just
depends on the
narrowly
number.
gonna present itself at that time, to
Yeah.
determine what smallest classroom you can bring up.
Follow plans when you follow plans.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's manageable so it can be successful. Thank you, though. Good question.
Yeah. That's our reports. Oh, all right, moving on to, more information, item 5A, if anybody wants to discuss any of these items, please, stop, we can discuss them. 5A, monthly discipline evaluation report. 5B, E-rate category, core network equipment. 5C, E-rate category 2, campus network equipment. 5D, campus rotation equipment. Do we need to go ahead? Okay, all right. So we'll go into closed session. During closed session, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551072. To discuss the person exchange lease value of real property 551074 for the purpose of considering employment evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee here, complaining to charges against public officer or employee 551076 for considering employment specifications for or implementation of security personnel devices at 8:07. Mr. Webster, go ahead and stay here. Thank you, folks. I know you have to see you all here in a few minutes.
Thank you.
We're gonna reconvene open session at 8:34. And no action on closed session. On 10A, we've got for review the GKD local. And then we move on to item 11. There was no comments on public. No comments on public. Okay. We want to make sure. Other necessary business, item 11A, spring break, which is next week, 11th through the 15th. 11B, board meeting, March 19th, when we come back from spring break, 7 p.m. 11C, Good Friday holiday, March 29th, and Easter Sunday. Are we off on that Monday too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
2 days.
Staff.
Oh, staff's back.
Teachers.
Oh, just us?
Oh, just admin. Well, that's okay.
I'll be available.
April 1st. Oh, yeah, that's April 1st, right?
Oh, yeah. So that was the next teachers.
Yeah. Okay. What is that? Oh, that was a bad, supposed to be, it could have been a bad weather.
Right.
Okay. 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 So not to the second for the teachers. Good, that's good. Nothing wrong with y'all working. Okay. Board suggest, item 12, board suggestions, recommendations, future organizational information updates. Yes. Ms. Miles, you had something you want to share? Please do.
Everybody wants to hear it too. So on Sunday, we went to church over at Little Union with our chapters and lawyers, and it was a very good day. So afterwards, I hosted a feast. She knows what I'm talking about, she does as well. Has something to do with the organization, but Queen Esther comes out of the Bible. So we had a feast. So our students from the CTE program came and they hosted for me. And I was so impressed and I was so proud of them. From the front door into the building, I mean, they handled everything like professional. They got everybody in, they set them down, told them where to go, what to do. So after they served the dinner and everything, I did introduce them to the group that was there, and I allowed them to speak on their professions and what they were doing. And we did bless them. We blessed each and every kid for showing up on a Sunday because that's their time. So we gave them a monetary blessing for coming to help us out. They spoke really, really well. And in the midst of them speaking, like we are going to take 3 of them and we're going to give scholarships. I'm having a dance on the 27th. We're taking those proceeds to give scholarships to our kids over here at CE King. We also have 3 prom students that we're making a magical night for 1 young lady and 2 guys. So we're gonna pay for their tickets and buy their clothes, do everything for them, so they can have a good experience as well. But our CTE students, they blew it out of the water. on Sunday, and I was so proud of him. And so one of the little guys, I forgot his name, he had the baseball cap on when he came here.
Oh, the culinary student.
Yeah, the color, he
He
came.
plays on the basketball team too.
And he explained to them that he wanted to start his business,
Bryson.
either with food truck, Bryson, or, because I have his name written down on my stuff. And what all he wanted to do is, so the guys are going to help sponsor him as well, as far as to get him some money to help him to get started. So Sunday was a good day. Sunday was a very good day, but I'm just telling y'all, those kids did so well. They ran everything. He cut the meat up and everything for us. I mean, I'm telling you, he did everything, and they did a good job. His whole little crew was every last one of them. So they did good. And the people that were there, they were really impressed when they started explaining the programs and what we do and how they do. And it was like, what? Wow, you know, so yeah, the little young lady was there that wants to be the federal lawyer. We got the Lone Ranger lady. And so they were like, wow. So I said, we're doing good things over here in Shelbyville. Okay, yes, we are. But I just wanted to share that with y'all, you know, and how well they did. I'm very proud of them. Very proud.
All right. Next item is, we had, I don't remember which meeting it was, at the high school, the buzzers, the doorbells aren't functioning. I know during November when I went out there, I had to sneak in with one of the students. Snuck in.
Okay.
I didn't, well, I mean, I went to the front door. That's all. Good thing we didn't have a surprise inspection that day.
Buzzers and doorbells.
Buzzer, doorbell, not just high school, but any other campuses also. I know we're getting the audits and so on, so. All right, and then just for the board, we need to start thinking, throw it out there for the name of the 9th and 10th grade campus. Yeah. Start discussions on that. That's all I got. Anything else? Anybody have?
15 days. Hey, still throw it out there, I'm gonna leave your thought, 15 days. 15 days, whatever high school. And they did a very good job, yeah, that was fortunate choices. So I say, let's give it another day. That's right.
All right, so-
He did some good things here, so I don't see a reason not to, and he did, he made history of it. So I'm proud to say that.
All right, so that'll be a discussion we'll have
We go write it down.
on the agenda for the next few workshops or when we get things done. All right, anything else? All right, then if not, we'll adjourn at 8:40.
Throw that in
Do y'all know when I'm sorry, do you know when? Because we're doing the whole graphic package. So I mean, like, we have like, we are CE King, CE King
Oh.
Panthers. So, yeah, like the graphics, I thought, I mean, I think that the administration's understanding was that it was one high school, that it was, you know, still CE King High School. And so we would have to make some changes to all of the graphics throughout, because it says like, we are Panthers,
Yeah, that's why I
we are
wanted to
CE King
discuss it
High
right
School,
now, too.
yeah.
But with the 9th and 10th grade campers, wouldn't it still be the Panthers? Regardless if you have